Hello knockouts, Tonya TKO here, and I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTko.com. I help you learn how to love yourself and each other. On this channel, we talk about attracting high vibrational relationships into your life so that that very relationship is an act of self-loving instead of self-abusing. Today we're going to be doing a follow-up on Derek Jackson's video. Yeah, so once again, where Derek Jackson did a response to a woman whose tweet has gone viral, where she's talking about how marriage licenses should expire, and then Derek Jackson came around on the tail end of that to agree, and then he gave his reasons for why he agrees, and I'm going to play the final 30 seconds for you of this video. And part of the reason that I'm doing this video, is because there are far too many of us women under the ill advisement of ignorant men and following behind the steps of women who are actually parcels for the patriarchy, spewing upon you ignorance and ill-advisement that they themselves have gotten from ignorant men, and they're parroting it to you through female form. And so I'm here to educate you in this video. Look, let's jump into his video first. I'm gonna play you the last 30 seconds. Here we go.
Relationship as being acceptable. So yeah, I'm in total favor of marriage licenses expiring and having to be renewed. Like, if the only thing keeping a person in your life is a locked door, figuratively speaking, in terms of all the money it takes to divorce and all the hoops you have to go through, if the only thing keeping a person in that home is a locked door, that's not a home anymore. That's a cage. So, I mean, if somebody just needs the door to be unlocked, you should be the one holding the door open for them to walk out of your life so somebody can come in who actually values being there with you. But those are just my thoughts.
All right. Well, you know what? Listen. All right. Let's talk about it. First of all, there's a false equivalence. A marriage license is not a relationship. So in my last video that took off on the internet, where we also were speaking about Derek Jackson, we talked about his business antics, and this is the same man who feels that he should not go back and mentor to people in his community who may need a little bit of guidance in where they can find information. So let me, as a person who has been a lifetime entrepreneur, I started my first business when I was 13 years old, let me come to educate you as a business person. A marriage license, you know, so many of us, we have these romantic views and ideas about what a marriage license is. As a business person, let me explain to you. Let's just remove the word marriage and put the word merger on there. Let's call it a merger license. Because in order to understand the institution of marriage and how this license came about and what the license is for, etc. Because listen, this advice that you're getting from these people, please don't, and share this video, please, with any woman or man who thinks that it's a good idea for a marriage or merger license to expire if you do not renew it. Please share this video with them and let's have a conversation. I want to see your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure that you thumbs up and like this video, share, subscribe to this channel so that you can find it again. I make videos almost daily. So listen, let's talk about it. In order to understand, we have to go back into where marriage licenses came from. What's the point and purpose of a marriage license? So in ancient Greece, as many of us may know, there was a lot of, let's call it, shenanigans happening. And what would happen is they would throw these big parties and people would roll around and they would celebrate. And as they were rolling around, sometimes they would roll onto people's penises. Sometimes penises would roll into people, both from the front way and the back way, both male and female. They're just rolling around. And what ended up happening is, guess what happened? There would be little babies that would be produced. But who was the baby's daddy? There was no Maury Povich show back then for them to come out with the DNA test and be like, Maurelius of Athens, you are not the... There was none of that. There was none of that. So the government decided to create incentive tax breaks for you if you decided to get into a union. The purpose of the union of this merger license is so that the people in this merger license would be able to provide a stable home for the little humans that would be created in this merger license, and they would get tax breaks as a result of that. Let's go forward to modern day. So modern day, we have a lot of these romantical ideas about what marriage is, what the marriage license is. Now, a marriage license and a marriage are two totally different things. A marriage license and a relationship are two completely different things. So what he's talking about, oh, hold the door open and let them go so that somebody else can come in. No, baby. No. See, this diminishes and belittles a woman's participation in the success of this union, of this merger. Just hold the door open. This goes along the line. See, this is what I'm saying. It's like these people who are ignorant, and they're like, go back to your country, get out. And the people are like, well, if they don't want you there, why don't you just leave? No, because we built this country. This country is ours. We have invested in this country. We have given our blood, sweat, and tears in this country. We've given our lives in this country. This country is ours too. We were born on this soil, toil this soil. As a matter of fact, if you want to go by just sheer effort alone, then yes, this land is our land. From the, I forget the song, from the something to the Brooklyn Islands. This land was made for you and me. Listen, this is just like a marriage. You know, it's like we diminish and belittle how much a woman and her presence in this marriage contributes to the overall success. So see, we come from a day and age where women would do the caretaking in the home, and a lot of a woman's wealth or ability to acquire wealth came through the hands of a man. Right? And so she and her participation in this relationship, her ability to care for children, to uplift him, to soothe him, to be his counselor, his manager, oftentimes, and sometimes even the doggone ghost writer, ghost painter for him. If you really look back in history, much of many men's success was really riding off of the genius of women, the women behind them. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. When you create an idea that, oh, all right, well, whenever you've gotten as much as you feel that you need or whatever, I'm going to hold the door open. After we both invested in this, I'm going to hold the door open and find somebody else who's going to love me better. Listen, love and marriage are two completely different things. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Why, when someone called into my live show, they were like, oh, well, you know, my boyfriend is not really into the whole marriage thing, right? And I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't have to be. You and him come together and create a business agreement. Create an entity, file that entity with the state, and create rules, regulations, and bylaws for that entity. And I'm like, see if he'll go for that. So that you come and you register a business entity, so that you say, listen, any property that is created and acquired in the name of this business, this merger, right? Once this merger is done, this property and this stuff will be split down the middle and divided in both places. If there are children who are created through this merger, right, this is the rules and regulations that go along with the paternal or maternal rights for these humans that we create in this situation. Part of the reason why a marriage license expiring, I mean, imagine the horror. Your spouse gets sick and is in the hospital around the time that the license is coming up for renewal. And they can't get to the courthouse. What do? If they're not of their faculties or right mind, what do? Let's say there's you're indisposed. You're the one who's indisposed or made indisposed or stopped from going down there to renew. And then it just expires. What happens to the property? What happens to the children? And so, like I was saying, with this merger, if you create this business entity, I asked the young lady, I said, ask if your boyfriend will go along with that. And guess what? He said, oh no. He wouldn't go along with the business license either, creating an entity. You know why? Because it's the commitment that he doesn't want. He doesn't want to commit. He doesn't want to get it on paper. He doesn't want a solid agreement. So imagine your spouse is in the hospital and can't renew this license. Imagine there are children that are created in this relationship, and then the person is just able to just what, leave? Ladies, don't listen to nonsense like this which doesn't behoove you. I'm going to tell you this little story. Years ago, I dated this man who was a neat freak, right? This was when I was in the height of TKO skin. I dated this man who was a neat freak. He was a neat freak, and he was very precise. It was like, you know what? When I went to his home for the first time, I found it frightening because his home was set up like this is a caveat, but you remember Sleeping with the Enemy? When she opened up the cabinets and it was all of these cans and everything was in alphabetical order. When I went to his house for the first time, it was frightening. I saw that, I was like, oh my God. But nonetheless, he was a neat freak, and he would assist me in my business, right? He would assist me with keeping things organized. I'm not the most organized person, but he was very organized and very meticulously organized at that. And he would keep things organized inside my business, and he would clean and really thoroughly clean, and because like it's like I had the production loft with a lot of inventory and stock, and things would get dusty and things and boxes, and so he would clean and thoroughly clean, and he would organize, and he would do all of these different things to keep the behind the scenes stuff running like clockwork, right? His participation allowed me to make more money. It did. All of that organization and stuff, everything in order, a place for everything and everything in its place. Now, as you can imagine, with that whole cabinet, that cupboard thing that I told you about with Sleeping with the Enemy, there was some other issues where I had to get the hell away from that man. But nonetheless, his participation in our relationship allowed me to make more money, right? The relationships that women enter into with men can, if that woman is the right woman for him, it can allow him to soar to levels far greater than he could have soared on his own. Just by her mere presence in that relationship, being a place for him to vent and work through his emotional stuff. Because, for the most part, men, and especially if you're talking about black men, there's just not really many places for men in general to be able to unwind and unpack the emotional things that they're going through. They can't do it with their friends. They do it inside of the home with their women. And for men who don't have women, they deteriorate on the inside because they don't have a person to provide that nutritive center for them, where they can get that nutritious, good love at home, where they can talk, unpack, unwind, get the comforting that they need. Right now, people are telling me doggone daycare is $400 a week. So when you have a partner who is able to pick up children, watch children, teach children, some of these women are homeschooling children, right? It is an investment in the family. It is an investment in this family unit. Cooking nutritious meals, providing the food, keeping the place clean and organized and focused. And there's women out there who are paying the bills, with the joint account or however they're doing it, right? They're paying the bills and they're keeping things organized and they're keeping the family unit running and they're doing the laundry and they're this and they're that and they're providing the schedules and they're disciplining children and they're rearing children and they're this, that, and the other. And this is why surveys are saying that single women who are child-free are among the happiest subsection of population, because a woman in a marriage, she carries her half of the relationship plus the lion's share of the load of the children as well. So when you start talking about, just opening the door after you've given of yourself, after you've invested of yourself in this relationship, and you've kept this relationship running and working, and you provided all of this mental health care for this man, and then now all of a sudden, your merger partner has leveled up, and now the license is going to expire. You're going to walk out of the door, walk out, no man. Walk out. But when you go out, there's an agreement of what's going to happen when you leave, bruh. There's an agreement of what's going to happen, and these assets will be split 50-50, son. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. It's like people listen to these court cases of the men, these high profile Hollywood types. She's getting $80,000 a month in child care that with support, etc., etc. Yes, yes. Because if you have a child with a person who is wealthy, yes, that child should be able to be afforded the lifestyle that is afforded by a parent who is wealthy. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then also, you're talking about a full-time caretaker. It's like these people, they want it both ways. They want you to be full-time nanny, full-time caretaker, guardian, supervisor, teacher, rearer, and all of this of the children. And they don't want to contribute to the rearing of those kids. I remember I had, I was in communique with a young lady who was left as a single parent. She was in her early 20s. She was left as a single parent while the guy went off and decided he was going to go find himself, etc. And she said to me, you know what? She said, listen, I'll be more than happy to pay him to take this child so that because my earning potential, so that I can go off in full actualization of my own earning potential, it would be much more beneficial for me to pay him to look after the child. But no, that wasn't the case. She was left with the child with no financial support from this man who went off in search of finding himself or being able to make money or all this, that, and the other. And then once he made it, or once he got somewhere, decided he was going to pick up a holy Bible and get himself gainfully employed, and now he was a Christian with a job. The child is 13 years old. He comes back around. 13 Christmases, 13 birthdays, 13 spring breaks and summer breaks, and he was nowhere to be found. The child didn't know him at this point, and the child wanted nothing to do with him. And it's like, so he went off and found himself and left this woman with the brunt and the responsibility. And it's like they want you to, so what is the purpose? What is the purpose of a marriage license expiring, a merger license expiring? So that you don't have to be in a relationship anymore? No, you don't have to. You don't have to be in any relationship. He's talking about this as a jail cell. You don't have to be in any relationship you don't want to be in. Go. However, there has to be, when you get married, there's a pre-designed template for what happens with the assets and what goes on with parental rights, etc. So it's like, if you wanted, the doors open. Go if you want to go, baby. But then there's a conversation that must be had about these assets, boy. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And so this is what I'm saying. As a business owner, imagine. You have a business partner and you all have all types of investments and all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden one day what? Because you think you're going to leave the business and just take whatever you want? So this is what I'm saying. So listen, let's forget the word marriage. Let's forget it. For all of you ladies out there who boyfriends don't want to get married, they don't want to commit for whatever reason, do like I said. Just say, okay, let's build this, let's create an entity and see how they feel about that, and see what the real issue is. Is the issue the word marriage? Because you could go do. I'm done talking about this. I want to hear your thoughts in your comments below. Do you think it's a good? I personally don't really. I'll ask the question anyway. Do you think it's a good idea for marriage licenses to expire? Do you think, I want to hear your thoughts below on this. I want to hear your thoughts on what marriage really is, what this license really is. So many of us with these romantic ideas, and we don't really understand because we're not coming at it from a realistic standpoint of what exactly a marriage is. So listen, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? Love yourself. And part of loving yourself is doing the things that you need to do to know who it is that you are. What benefit do you bring into a relationship? How do you benefit from your relationship? What is it? What is your goal for a relationship? Where are you getting your counsel and advisement? Does that feel like truth to you? Does it feel high vibrational? Listen, This is my book, The Book of Affirmation Self-Love. It's available for sale right now on Amazon. You can also get an autographed copy on my website if you go over to TonyaTKO.com. This is a workbook. Like, if you don't know what self-love is and you out here floating around looking to people to be able to assist you in loving yourself, and you don't know where to start, and some of the information is coming, all of the information that you get is coming through the filter of another person. If you're looking for the ability to really reattune yourself to self-love, this is my book right here. It's an affirmations workbook where you actually go into each pages and you write out the affirmations, and you complete some small work on the workbooks in there, and you begin to rewrite your subconscious programming and reattuning yourself for self-love. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I am certified in neurolinguistic programming, and this book was written in a way to be able to change the neurons of your brain and rewire you for self-love. If something like a marriage license or merger license expiring sounds like a good idea to you, please get this book. If you don't know where to find your own self-love, please get this book. If you're confused and you're following these gurus who are leading you hither and thither, please get this book. And I will see you in the next video. Remember, like and comment on the video, subscribe, and I will see you in the comment section. Tonya TKO, and I'm out. Peace.